legal residents of this country who have been detained by ICE, in some cases already deported by ICE. This is happening more and more, and in this case, it appears to be directly tied to labor organizing in particular.
Adam, a farm worker organizer was detained by ICE last week. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Hey, yeah, happy to do that. I wanted to plug an article by Labor Notes that was really excellent. And just to borrow from the article here, Alfredo Juarez was detained by ICE agents last week in what many believe to be retaliation for his organizing. Juarez was pulled over while driving his wife to work. ICE agents shattered Juarez's window and dragged him out of the vehicle for exercising his right to remain silent, according to his brother. Juarez had helped form an independent farm worker union that emerged out of a 2013 work stoppage by berry workers out in Washington state. He himself began working as a berry picker at 14 and has fought for the rights of farm workers ever since. And of course, this comes amid a context of now numerous legal residents of this country who have been detained by ICE, in some cases already deported by ICE. There was a strong statement by SEIU President April Verrett on the Tufts graduate student who was detained by ICE. We also saw UE speaking out about another incident. And so, this is happening more and more. And in this case, it appears to be directly tied to labor organizing in particular.
Right. It is so gross that we're seeing stuff like this. And again, we're only a couple of months into this administration. We should, the whole deal was ostensibly, right? We're getting out criminals. And supposedly this is to make the lives of working people in the United States better. How does it help working people in the United States if we kick out folks who are organizing farm workers? It doesn't, is the spoiler. It doesn't help us. What it does is it pushes the remaining undocumented folks that are here further underground. It will make them less likely to organize. It will make them more easily exploitable, which is exactly what the bosses that support the Trump administration want to happen, right? They want the undocumented folks to stay here, but they don't like them being a little too uppity, like this brother has been. Uppity in the sense that he thinks that farm workers ought to be paid more. He thinks that farm workers ought to have some benefits, and he's willing to organize around that. We have a right in this country to organize, and that right extends to non-citizens. Non-citizens explicitly have a right to organize a union, and you should not be, and it is illegal to retaliate against them for that. But of course, this administration doesn't care about the law. They care about enforcing hierarchy and supporting bosses. That's all that this move does.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
I don't know if you were about to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that when it happened, local unions and immigrant justice activists did spring into action. The president of UFCW Local 3000, Faye Gunter, was there and encouraged members to get involved because, again, they see this as directly related to this direct retaliation for organizing. And as you said, bosses and politicians don't mind undocumented or, in this case, legal residents here in this country to do work, but they don't want folks to exercise their rights, and it's a real shame. And I wanted to mention that there are some things that folks are encouraged to do. The Washington State Labor Council is sponsoring an emergency rally at the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, Washington, where both Juarez and SEIU Local 925 member Lewin Dixon are being held. And so that is happening Let's see, that actually already happened just this past week. And then they are calling for phone calls to political decision makers, including the Washington Attorney General's office, the Washington State Governor's office, the congressional representative for the district, Rick Larson, as well as both senators, Patty Murray and Maria Cantwell. And the community-to-community development is collecting contributions for LELO's Legal Defense Fund. So again, I do want to recommend folks check out the Labor Notes article. Great work getting that information out there and pointing people to ways they can get involved and help. It's really essential that we have each other's back in this time. And so I appreciate the unions who are getting involved and showing that an injury to one really is an injury to all.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do. It's such important work to defend this brother, and we're going to be the worse for it if the Trump administration succeeds in getting him deported. Significantly the worse for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to look at this case of the Tufts University student as well, because like I said, SEIU has spoken out against this. And I just want to read from their statement because I really appreciated what they did here. Ramasaya Ozturk, and I apologize if I mispronounce her name, a graduate student at Tufts University and also a member of SEIU Local 509, was snatched by masked federal immigration authorities on Tuesday night on her way to Ramadan services. Her arrest, with no charges filed, is yet another chilling example of this administration's efforts to use immigration actions to target and silence people merely for criticizing U.S. policy in the Middle East. Ozturk from Turkey had a valid student visa, and her lawyer has no idea where she has been taken or why, though she had recently co-authored an op-ed in the student newspaper in support of the people of Palestine. This is about the freedom we all have to speak our minds without fear of government attacks. The First Amendment is being burned before our very eyes by an administration that has shown that it is willing to do whatever it takes to carry out its extremist agenda. In recent weeks, the administration has threatened university funding and arrested foreign graduate students with little or no explanation. We will not forget Mahmoud Khalil, a graduate student activist from Columbia University, Badar Khansuri, a professor and postdoctoral scholar on religion and peace studies from Georgetown University, Rasha Alawi, an assistant professor of medicine and kidney transplant specialist from Brown University, and others whose names we don't yet know. America's role as a beacon of freedom and human rights is being extinguished, and our leading universities are rapidly becoming graveyards for free speech rights, with students and faculty living in fear. As a union representing workers across higher education, including faculty, graduate workers, and administrative staff, we call upon university officials, elected leaders, and the courts to stand together to defend the rights of students and faculty. We demand that this administration respect due process, transparency, free speech, and basic decency when it wields its vast immigration powers.
All right, so there you go. Do what you can to fight back against that, especially if you're in the Pacific Northwest. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.